Hello, this is Lynn Gardner. I am following up with a couple of more YouTube videos. I apologize, but I haven't quite figured out how to do the live screen on my computer yet. So I'm just still posting pictures so you're not looking at a blank screen. I will follow up with a couple of more because I do want to do a video about all my dealings with the elders and the Watchtower Society, and I may even do some more about my gruesome life. But I want to today uh, just share with you a letter I'm just sending to my father now to close out this whole ordeal. So bear with me as I read it to you. There's a lot of information in here. Hi, Dad. The last time we spoke was on my surprise visit of December 2015. We had a 10-hour or more conversation in my rental car since you nearly threw me out of the porch, and I obviously was not welcome in the home with all my siblings visiting over the holidays. You started out that conversation by asking me if I was recording you. So I took out my tablet, my phone, and showed you that they were off. I also told you that you were welcome to check out the rental car for any recording devices, and I promised you that I was not recording you. You were very reluctant to talk initially. I remember clearly when you started to open up. It was after I had said to you, Dad, when the letter from the Watchtower Society came, the elders read me a part that said, the case is not closed in our mind, and if you wish, you may request a meeting with your father and the elders. I told the elders in my hall that I knew in my heart if I sat down with my father in front of the elders, and I repeated all the terrible things that he had done to me, all the things that I had gone through, and the life that I had lived, that you would remember everything and that you would feel saddened for what you had done. And I believed that you would say you were sorry. Dad, that is all that I wanted, was for you to admit without having to repeat all the details, but just admit and say, I sexually and physically abused you, and I am truly, truly sorry. After that talk, you started to open up. As a matter of fact, the next words that came out of your mouth in a very matter-of-fact tone were, and I quote, Yes, I remember my penis being erect between your legs. We had more conversation, and you told me that you didn't agree with everything that I had recounted, but you obviously remembered enough because you remembered your erect penis between my legs. After more hours of conversation, you told me that there was no way to resolve this. Now picture where I was coming from, my side, a child who had done nothing, a child who was abused, and now she was treated like an outsider by her family, almost treated like she was disfellowshipped because she came forward and told about something that her father had done to her. And remember, Dad, I'm not the one who told my siblings. You were the one. And I wanted you to fix what you had done. I wanted you to repair the rift you had made between my family and I. Then I said, Dad, all I need is for you to send an email copying Mom, my siblings, and myself. And in that email, I just want you to say something to the effect that you and I have talked, you've agreed that you've done some things you shouldn't, and we've come to a point where we've decided that we will leave it behind us and we will move forward. I also told you that if you did not want to give any details about the sexual abuse, that would be okay. If you didn't want to share it with Mom, that would be okay. And you said no. Then I told you that I promised that I wouldn't talk about it with anybody. I promised I wouldn't give them any details if they asked me. I said, Dad, you know you can trust me. After all, I kept this secret for over 40 years, but you did not want to do it. I don't know if you were actually afraid to admit something on paper or in writing, if in the back of your head you thought that I had some ulterior motive to catch you, that this was just a trick to expose you. But whatever the reason was, you certainly were not willing to send anything out. You also told me that you had tried to talk to Mom over the years to let her know, but she didn't want to listen. I can understand how difficult it was for her to hear any of it, because I can remember that day, the day I told her. I remember how difficult it was to listen to the silence on the other end of the phone as I spoke the words of abuse, knowing how much it hurt her. Excuse me. Give me a moment. I guess it's human nature to run and hide from things that make us feel uncomfortable. But I had to live my whole life feeling uncomfortable with my womanhood, all because of the way I was treated as a young girl and a young woman by you, my father. I told you that the brothers in my hall read me a portion of the letter from the Watchtower Society, and in that letter, you basically blamed me, and so did they. Did they? The letter said, and I'm kind of trying to quote it here. As a young child, Lynn was enamored with her father, and she crawled up on him and lay on his chest, and he became aroused and kissed her inappropriately. Crying, Dad, I told you. Dad, you blamed me. The Watchtower Society put the blame on me, an 11-year-old child. And this is not what happened. You pulled me onto your body after petting me and hugging me and pulling me close. You became aroused because of what was in your heart. I was a little child. You were supposed to protect me, not abuse me. You told me that you would fix it, that you would make sure and tell the elders and set them straight, and that you were trying to go and set things right with the family. After more hours of conversation, you said, well, I tell you what, dear, let's call your mom and let's talk to her and tell her that we have had a discussion here today. You did attempt to call her, but you had had the only phone, which was now a cell phone since you no longer had a home phone, with you in your pocket. So we needed to call one of the other siblings. When we did call those siblings, the plan was that I was to talk to Mom, and I wouldn't even tell her about the sexual abuse in that call. I would just tell her that you and I had talked and how sorry I felt for what she must have been going through over the years, and that I didn't blame her, and that we had come to an understanding and we wanted to move forward. But when we finally reached Mom, you spoke a little bit to her and said, Carol, I'm going to pass the phone to Lynn now. And when I took the phone, my sibling was on the other end. My mother had passed the phone to my sibling. My sibling said that Mom didn't want to talk to Lynn. So you said to me, see, I tried to tell your mother, but she wouldn't listen. I tell you what we're going to do, dear. When I go home tonight, after all your siblings are in bed, I'm going to talk privately with your mother, and I'm going to tell her about our discussion today, and the three of us can meet tomorrow morning. I agreed to that. And when I drove you up to the house, you asked me if you could give me a hug. And I said, no, Dad, I'm sorry. I'm not ready to be hugged by you. And you got out of the car. And my heart actually felt so sad for you. Excuse me. Give me a moment, excuse me. That night, I went to my hotel believing that you were going to do what was right. You were going to talk to Mom. You were eventually going to talk to the elders and try and fix things. and that you were going to try and talk to the family. I laid in my bed all alone, thinking about you, my family, being all together there, and me being cast out. I remember all the words that came out of your mouth, the things that you accused me of when I first showed up on your doorstep. By then, I quickly realized that my sister, whom I had confided in, but still kept the sexual secret from, my sister whom I trusted, my sister whom I helped through her divorce, her anorexia, her disfellowshipping, my sister who I thought was my support, my trusted friend. My sister had actually been repeating all of the conversations that she and I had. I knew this because of the things you told me, because you knew that I had found the neighbor kids who had seen my face beaten, and I had only shared this with my sister. So I told myself not to jump to conclusions and not to judge her. I didn't know what was in her head, what she had been told on the other side. I told myself not to judge anyone. So I prayed. I prayed to Jehovah, and I asked him to help me, to be patient, to be forgiving, to trust in him, and I cried myself to sleep. The next morning I waited for your call to come and see you and Mum, but I never got one. So I drove up to the house again, uninvited. When I arrived, there you were, you and Mum, in the driveway, trying to back out the car for her so that she could leave. I got out of my car. Mum's back was turned to me, and I said, Mum, hi, Mum. Can I come and hug you? I haven't seen you or talked to you in over 5 years. Mum still had her back turned to me, and she said, Nope, not ready for that. I said, Mum, why don't you want to talk to me? I haven't done anything wrong, and I haven't done anything to you. And she said, You don't know what I've been through these past couple of years, Lynn. I said, Yes, but Mum, that wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything to you. I didn't do anything wrong. Actually, I did everything right. I did things the way Jehovah's organization tell us to do them. I went to Dad first, and then to you. Mum said, Nope, I have an appointment. Then you started to come across the driveway towards me, and you said, You know what? I'm the one who did things right. Let's get in the car and drive up the hill. So we got in my car, and I drove up towards Wilson's house, and we parked. I could tell that things had changed since I had left you the night before. You were very cold and matter of fact. You told me about you being sick and that you had trouble with your prostate and that you tried to talk to Mom, but she really wasn't receptive, and not to worry, that you would try some more and you would fix things and you were going to smooth things over with the family. You told me about how when you came home, they were all anxious to know about what our conversation was and what you had said to me. And you told me how you sat there and listened to them all talking so badly about me, but you didn't say a bad word. You only said kind things about me. And then you told me that you had to go and assured me again that you were going to fix things. So I said, okay. And then you extended your hand to give me a handshake. But you know what, Dad? I never heard from you again. Not a phone call, not an email, not a text, nothing. I trusted, Dad, trusted that you were going to do something, that you were going to work on fixing what you had done to me, and that you were going to work on getting the family back, the family that you had turned against me. I, the tiny little child, protected you. I protected your image of being this great father of his household. I protected your image of the loyal elder in the congregation by keeping secret the things you had done to me. I protected my family's unity, trying to keep them together by keeping this secret. You have no idea how you destroyed me as a human being. Because I was such a loving, caring, giving, and forgiving person, I lived with it and I tried to deal with it. When I came to you, my abuser, for help, all you did was care about yourself. I have given you plenty of opportunities to do the honorable thing. I have given you opportunities to come out from under this in a non-disgraceful way, just secretly even between you and I. But you had to share it with my siblings in an attempt to keep your image up. So here we are, over a year later, with not a word. But you know what, Dad? I have gone public. Yes, I have posted a short video with just 2 stories of the lifetime of horrors that I had to live under your rule, and I will probably post some more. I have found myself. I have found my voice. I have found my strength. And I am someone. I am Lynn Gardner. I'll say that again. I am Lynn Gardner, a loving, trusting, and forgiving person. I truly do hope that Jehovah can forgive you, and I truly do hope that you can forgive yourself so that you could live your last years with inner peace. Think of all the lives that you have affected by your actions and your lies and your two-facedness. All of your children have been affected, all of your grandchildren, your wife, even the Christian congregation has been affected. Everybody that you are involved with has been touched in some way. Once, when I was a young girl, you pounded on my chest with your 2 fingers and you asked me, "Who are you?" And I replied, "Lynn." And you pounded on my chest again and you said, "Who are you?" And I replied, "Lynn." And you pounded on my chest again and you said, "No, you're no one. You're nobody. Say it, say it, say you're nobody." And I repeated, "I'm no one. But I am Lynn Gardner."